So, the Pima County Sheriff's Department says none of Nancy Guthrie's family members are considered suspects in her disappearance. Quote, to be clear, the Guthrie family, to include all siblings and spouses, has been cleared as possible suspects in this case. The family has been nothing but cooperative and gracious and are victims in this case. To suggest otherwise is not only wrong, it is cruel. The Guthrie family are victims, plain and simple. Please, I'm begging you, the media, to honor your profession and report with some sense of compassion and professionalism. Our next guest was one of the investigators in the Laci Peterson case and says he suspected her husband, Scott, when he first met him. So what do investigators look for when they're ruling out family members? Let's ask retired Detective John Bueller. Detective, thank you so much for joining the program. I wanted you to take me back to that investigation. And you said this in an interview, and it really caught my attention. You said, referring to Scott, didn't mean he did it, but I was a little bit thrown off by his calm, cool demeanor, his lack of questioning. He wasn't, will you call me back? Can I have one of your cards? What are you guys doing now? What did you mean by that?
Well, Lawrence, this is typical whenever you're dealing with family members. You do a comparison of their behavior and their emotions, and if somebody stands out, it doesn't mean they were involved in the case, but it means you have to take a closer look at them, and that's what we had with Scott when it came to the Peterson case. Whether it was Sharon or Ron or any of Laci's friends, Lori, Renee, Stacy, Kim. Everybody was just going crazy because they were frantic. They were constantly bombarding us with questions on what we were going to do to find Laci. And when it came to Scott, he was always cooperative and he was always polite, pleasant to deal with, but he had no sense of urgency throughout that whole time we were dealing with him, and almost like no sense of interest. And that's probably exactly what the detectives here in Pima County are dealing with the family. And what a great statement from the sheriff to put that out there in such detail that they've been cleared. You can't flash these things around in the media all the time, but to put it out the way he did shows that they did a thorough investigation on the family and they cleared him.
So, Detective, explain to me, if you don't have a suspect, if you don't have the full profile of the person, you don't have any of their correspondence, how do you clear a family member if you don't have the person that you're looking for just yet?
Well, one of the things that we look at is we look at background on people and do they have a criminal history. And in this case, it doesn't seem that anybody in the family's ever been involved in crime. So that's the first thing that you take a look at. Do they lead a lifestyle that would put them in a position where they would have to take advantage of a family member like Nancy in this case? And those are the first things that they probably did with all the family members, and were able to clear them tentatively on that. But when it comes to anything else on that, if a family member could have been involved in it, you're looking for an alibi, where he was, where she was, what they could have been doing. You try to verify that with other sources so that you can rule them out from doing the attack at the home like we saw in the video that has been put forth. And even like when the sheriff won't even put out there whether it was a forced entry or not a forced entry, wise decision on law enforcement not to put that out, because details like that are how you screen out people during interviews and interrogations further down the line when you focus on somebody in particular.
Detective, as you know, in law enforcement, we always say that the crime scene speaks to us. Explain to me how difficult it is, though, when you don't have the victim's body there when you're trying to track them down. How much, a lot of people have made some comparison to your case and this case. Walk me through that.
Well, one of the things you look for, and this was true in the Peterson case, there was no evidence that anybody went into that house. We couldn't find anything that suggested anybody went into the house to abduct or attack Laci, and I'm sure that's exactly what the detectives were doing in this place. They went in there, they did find foreign DNA in the house, but then what they have to do is they have to determine if that was from an abduction accomplice, or if it was maybe something as simple as an employee from a plumbing company that came to clear a drain or something like that. So what you do is you go to a crime scene. It isn't audible, but physical evidence will speak if you understand the language. And if you're looking for things like forced entry in the house, if there's no forced entry, that puts you on a different path. If you have forced entry, then that'll make you look in it in a different way. But when it comes to evidence that's left behind, whether it's trace evidence like fibers, fluids, blood, latent prints, anything like that, touch DNA, those are things that are searched for. And now the technology is to the point where it's much better than it was in my day, where they can get quicker results, more accurate results, and help them lead to somebody that might be in the system that they can identify.
So, Detective, put yourself in these detective shoes, and you're right, technology has gotten a lot better since one of your last cases, the Laci Peterson case. When you hit a wall in an investigation, what do you do in this moment right here? Sure, they have this video now. They're working through the processing, the DNA glove, but they're still hitting these investigative walls. So what do you do in those moments?
Well, Lawrence, it's interesting, you talk about the wall and they do come up, but generally what happens, especially with media coverage like this on a case, it develops an enormous number of tips that come in. And a lot of them are wild goose chases, but a lot of them are solid, but they have to be prioritized. So when the detectives come to a dead end on one of the things they're working on, it's not like they have to sit back in the chair and wait for something to come in. They've got a whole line of things that they're waiting to get to. So they finish one lead, they clear that out, they document it the way they need to, so it can be addressed in court, and they move on to the next one. And it's all about priority. The highest priority ones go first, and then they move on down from that. And hopefully, just like happened in Peterson, something's going to come along that's going to break the case open, and we'll be able to recover Nancy, hopefully alive.
You said previously finding a body was the turning point in the Peterson case. We don't know where Nancy is. What, is that an extra layer of difficulty for us here?
Well, Lawrence, I don't think it really adds the difficulty so much as it keeps the urgency alive, because you have to go by the concept that she's still alive and we want to bring her home. And so that would be the way that these detectives are looking at this case. And that's probably why they're putting in a lot more hours than anybody that's watching this is even imagining, because the overtime rolls up on a case like this, and you have to get some sleep, but you have to keep working and pressing through with those leads. So whether the body's there or not doesn't really have anything to do with it. Probably the one thing that they did on this case from the start is they started working it, maybe not telling the family so much that they were working it as a no-body homicide, because that's the proper way to work a case like this, where the victim is severely at risk and totally out of character, that they would go missing like that. The evidence that you have to grab at the early stages of the investigation when you process a crime scene, especially an indoor crime scene at a residence, you can't do that later on. It has to be done right the first time around. And sometimes you end up having to go back. No big deal there, because that happens. But as long as it's controlled and they document it properly, it shouldn't cause them a problem when they go to trial.
Yeah, that's the first thing they teach you in Crime Scene 101 is to make sure you freeze the crime scene and that you don't contaminate it. You can go back as many times as you want, but just lock it down. Detective, thanks so much for joining the program.
Thanks, Lawrence.
Hey, it's Will Cain. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Cain podcast for full episodes right now.